Hello, everyone. Welcome to Free Write Friday. My name is Jessica Lynn Johnson, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the founder and CEO of Soaring Solo Studios, alongside my fabulous colleague Heather Dowling. And together we develop and direct solo theater and produce it as well. All over the world. We have clients in Mexico and Canada and all over the US, and we just love what we get to do, help everybody tell their stories from stage, in person and virtually nowadays, which is kind of cool. And I've been in this field for over 20 years. I have a couple of solo shows myself that I toured internationally with, and I'm also a blogger for NoHo Arts. That stands for North Hollywood Arts. So if you go to the NoHo Arts website, you can find my Soaring Solo blog. And I have a lot of different blog entries with tips for solo artists. So if that's of service to you, I hope you'll check that out. I am also on the advisory board with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. And we have our next festival coming up in March. We've been around for over 30 years at this point, and it's a wonderful nonprofit. So you can find us at lawtf.org. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I would love to hear about you. Please say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, maybe where you're at in your creative process. Maybe you're just dabbling with the idea of doing a solo show, or you're already touring, or somewhere in between. Wherever you're at is perfect. And I hope that what we do today really serves your process and encourages you along your way. And the mission of Free Write Friday is really just to carve out time together as a community to write. So even if you've already got your show up on its feet, or if you don't even know yet if you want to do a solo show, I think this space has value because we're just coming together and creating and writing and expressing ourselves. It's not about getting anything right. It's just taking the time to nurture our creative sides, which is so very important to invest in. And if you enjoyed today and you want to come back, the next Free Write Friday is going to be November 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as my intro. Okay, so we've been looking at Blake Snyder's Save the Cat for a while now, many months now. And he was a Hollywood screenplay writer. And so his approach in Save the Cat are the beats of writing a Hollywood screenplay. But we are going to be looking at it through the lens, and we have been looking at it through the lens of adapting that for solo theater. And today we're going to look at the finale, which is beat, I want to say it's beat 14, maybe. I don't know, but it's at the end, obviously, it's the finale. And he actually breaks the finale down into 5 points. We're only going to go over one of those points today because each point is really rich, and I want to make sure we give each one of those points their due attention. So today, as we look at the 5 points, we're going to be focusing on what he calls gathering the team. And so this is basically the preparation of the character. The protagonist, the hero of the journey, goes into preparation mode, and it's the first of the 5 points of the finale. So he uses examples like assembling the troops, getting the team together, partnering up with somebody, gathering tools, getting money, securing weapons, laying out the route, like all these different forms of preparation for moving into those final stages, wrapping up the show. So to give you some examples of, or give you an example of this from the Soaring Solo community, I had the honor of working with Justin Sandler, who many of you might know from 3 Cube Studios. He's also a very talented editor and videographer, but he's also a great solo artist. And we worked on his show Embrace, Love, Free back in 2019, and that was about Justin's journey with cancer and how he survived and thrived after cancer. And his process through that was learning to embrace and to love and to free his cancer, hence the title. So how this applies to beat 14, our finale, is Justin's way of assembling the troops or gathering his team, so to speak. So now last time in Free Write Friday, we looked at beat 13, which was break into 3, and that's when the hero has the epiphany. So that's when you and your show have your epiphany toward the end of the show. You know what you need to do, but now you're going to go do it. You're going to prepare to go do it. So likewise, Justin had the epiphany um, when he was going through cancer, the final stages of cancer in the show, was that he wasn't really wanting to heal. Like there was something deep inside of him that was prohibiting him from healing, some inner work that still needed to be done. And so when he had that awareness, that was the epiphany moment, our break into 3 beat 13 from last time. But now he knew he needed to prepare to begin that journey of healing. And so what that looked like in his show was gathering his team, which were a bunch of personified characters. We met the character Fucks, pardon my French, but that was the name of the character, Fucks, and Too Many Fucks. So these were two characters that oscillated between caring way too much about what other people think and caring way too much about anxiety and other things in life. That was Too Many Fucks. And then Fucks was the one who didn't give a fuck and just didn't care at all. And so both of those characters, he gathered them at the end to look at his journey with caring or not caring about different things in his life. He also brought in his character Heart. So he personified his heart, and Heart was expressing the ways in which he wasn't allowing himself to move forward with his life, to truly be authentic and vulnerable. And he also brought in the character Cannabis Carl, marijuana, who Justin needed to give gratitude for, because Cannabis Carl had been very helpful on his journey through chemo and cancer and all of those things. And Justin was like, we're going to keep moving forward together. I need you, buddy. So those were 4 of the characters that he gathered together at the end as he was preparing to move into true healing and truly moving past cancer. So that's one example. So I want to now shift focus to you and your story. And I'm going to give you 8 minutes to write about it in a second, but I want you to think about a time in your life where you had some sort of epiphany, you understood what maybe wasn't working so well or what you needed to do, and then you move into that mode of preparation for it. So for example, maybe you realize, okay, I've got to get a divorce. This relationship is not working. Moving into preparation mode, getting a lawyer, filing the paperwork, whatever that looks like. I've not personally been divorced, but moving into preparing for that. Or maybe it's realizing that you want to go for that job, that dream job. So how did you prepare for that? What did you have to do to gather your team or gather your tools to prepare to apply for that job or go on a trip? What did you have to do? Book the hotel, get your ticket. So I want you to think of times of preparation in your life when you knew what you needed to do and now you had to prepare. So hopefully that helps. And there's no way to mess this up. However you interpreted what I gave you today is perfect. Just let your intuition guide you. And we don't share in Free Write Friday. It's just an opportunity to write. We don't go around and share what we've written. So no pressure there either. So I'm going to let you know when your 8 minutes are up. Go ahead and jump in and let me know in the chat if you have any questions. little over a minute left, just a little over a minute. Okay, and please go ahead and wrap up your writing. And if you were writing in a journal, I strongly advise transcribing it into a document on your computer so it's safe and saved somewhere in case you want to build from that. And I would say the biggest takeaway that I'd like you to consider from what we looked at today was just this idea of unpacking how we got from A to Z in any moment in our solo shows. And so, like I said, we're going to be looking at the 5 points of the finale over the next several revealed sessions with that in mind of just really learning to unpack the moments. Um, Something I read online about Save the Cat and the 5 beats was just making the point that a lot of times we'll take the audience through this whole journey of all these ups and downs and these obstacles that we go through and the mentors that we meet and the enemies we defeat and like all these things, and then it's like, and then I lived happily ever after, or and then it ended horribly, or whatever it is, and we just wrap it up really quickly after the audience has been investing in our whole story. So we want to pay off the ending. We want to really take all those strings that we've had dangling throughout the show and weave them together and tie them up and not have loose ends and pay off the different relationships and characters we've brought up and those sorts of things. And not only that, when it's our lived experience, we can forget that there's bridges we have to build in the sense of details. Like we leave the audience wondering how we got from one place in our life to the next because we don't handhold them through that journey. And that's a lot of times where the gems are in those juicy details of how we achieved what we achieved and did what we did. So really think of your life in terms of those specifics. And especially when you're in generative mode, I always say, like, when you're writing, editor is really not invited into the room. Editor can stay in the closet for a while because the only person who should be in the room when you're writing is the writer. And then when you're, sitting there looking at more content than you need for an hour long or maybe 70-minute long solo show, then you can say, okay, editor, it's your time to come in here and help me decide what stays and what goes. But editor showing up earlier than they're welcome to often will censor you and will get you into an analytical mind rather than a generative, creative, intuitive space. So just remember to tell your editor they are not welcome until you're ready to make those editing choices further into the process. Okay, with all of that said, I'm going to move into Soaring Solo announcements. I put them in the chat so you can follow along with me with the announcements in the chat. But we always have so many great things happening in our community, and I'm all about community with Soaring Solo because it is a one-person show, but we cannot do it alone, and it's easy to quit or just sit down on the road of our solo journey if we don't have companionship and support. So with that said, tomorrow I'm doing my free class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Play. That is also on Zoom. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can just sign up on my website. That's a 90-minute experience. And there is time in class to share what you've written and get constructive criticism and support. So I encourage you to join that. And then if you wanted to work with myself or Heather in a more professional capacity, you can email me about that. Initial consultations are $69 for an hour on Zoom. We also do small group coaching for $39, and power pairs and intensives and character gyms and all kinds of cool things. So if you're wanting to get more involved in that way, just email me, but there's no pressure for any of that. And my email is in the chat, soringsoloartist@gmail.com, or you can just go to soaringSoloStudios.com and fill out a contact form. And if you're not quite ready to premiere your show, but you want something to work toward, a Revealed is a really amazing virtual series that Heather and I put on. And it is where you just read your script, your work in progress, to a virtual audience. And then we get feedback. We have a conversation in a safe, supportive container with ideas that could improve the script, editing ideas, expansion ideas, theatricalization ideas, like all those sorts of things. And it's just a really great thing to put a stake in the ground, have something meaningful to work toward before you invest in memorization and staging and tech and all the things, and promotion and all the things that go into premiering your solo show. You want to make sure that the script is really solid. So this is a great way to do that. So if you're interested in being a participant in the Revealed series, which is an ongoing series, you can email me for more information about that as well. And then, as I said at the very beginning, the next FREEWrite Friday is happening Friday, November 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern. Just sign up the same way you did today. And you can go back to my YouTube channel and watch all the previous FREEWrite Fridays. You can make little, solo artist dates with yourself to just sit down and spend 15-20 minutes writing using those prompts. I also have a bunch of guided meditations, I think over 100 of those, with visualizations as writing prompts as well. So if you're feeling stuck, I would definitely recommend going to my YouTube channel and watching a lot of that free content to discover your story. And last but not least, we have a lot of, actually, let me back up. Sorry, Revealed that I was talking about. We have 3 different episodes of Revealed coming up this week. So if you're even considering doing Revealed, I would at least make it to one of those so you can see what the structure's like. You can witness a show that is a work in progress, and how to receive that type of constructive criticism from a supportive group. And all 3 of those shows are going to be premiering in December on stage. So they're doing their reveals, in advance so that they can make those changes that they see fit before they stage and mount the show in December. So anyways, I put the link in the chat for for all 3 of those revealed episodes, but you can email me for more information too, but I would definitely recommend going to that. It's you can RSVP and just give a small donation, whether it's $5 or $50 or anything in between, whatever you want to put toward the production of the show. The most important thing is just having you there. So we definitely don't want cost to be in the way of you showing up to Revealed and giving your 2 cents. Okay, so back to what I was talking about with point 5 is that we have a lot of different festivals happening all throughout the year. Festivals are an amazing way to get into the solo theater circuit. There's a lot of structure, there's a lot of support, there's a lot of deadlines. So festivals are a great way to go to build your accolades and to give you a nice support structure and system for mounting your show. So right now we're in the midst of the Binge Fringe Festival at the Santa Monica Playhouse, which is a grant-funded competitive festival in Santa Monica. And I think I want to say it was 12 or 13 Soaring Solo people were selected this year to be members, to be participants, and to either teach workshops or do their shows as part of the festival. So I was really honored and proud of the community for having so many shows selected. And a lot of them are streaming. So even if you're not in the Santa Monica area, you can watch the shows. And some of them are not only streaming, but then they're going to replay on their YouTube channel indefinitely, or well, no, I think through the end of November, maybe. So you can watch those there. And the best way to learn to do solo theater is to see solo theater, see what you like or don't like. It's all informative. There's also United Solo, which is happening. It's happening right now too in New York City, but it's also going to be happening in the spring. And I think they're still accepting applications for their spring lineup. So United Solo is the largest solo theater festival in the world. and it's on 42nd Street in Theater Row. So it's a great off-Broadway credit. So that's worth looking into as well. Hollywood Fringe Festival happens in June. The Joshua Tree Solo Festival, I'm a co-producer on. There's the LA Women's Theater Festival that I told you about this. And then the Stars series, Heather and I are co-producing in December. So all to say there's a lot coming up. And you can go to my website and see a nice calendar of the Soaring Solo artists that are participating in various festivals. Okay, well, I'm going to hop off, but I will leave the chat up for a few moments if you're still jotting things down. And again, if you have any questions, any thoughts, feel free to email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much.